What's up, everybody? Alex D'Angelo here, and today I'm going to be making a proper video of my 50-inch Navajo White Casablanca Concentra ceiling fan. Now, I've already tried to do 2 videos of this. They were on my channel for a little bit, but I took them down because the lighting was definitely not the best. And I'd rather do it kind of while the sun is still out, so you could see it a lot better. I mean, there's not a lot of lighting in this garage. I don't want to turn on the fluorescent light because it buzzes a lot. And there's a light right here that I actually could turn on, but I don't know if that makes it blurry on it. Yeah, that kind of glares it out, and I don't like that, so I'll turn that off. So anyway, so yeah, this is my Casablanca Concentra Navajo White. It's dated 1989, according to the tag on top. It's obviously an older Casablanca, even though it's a 5-bladed one. Usually 5-bladed Casablancas are 90. Well, this is a 1989, so around that time, I think that's when they started to make 5-bladed Casablancas with the rounded blade tips instead of the pointed blade tips. I'm not sure if this is a 4 or 5 flywheel fan. I think it's only 5. I think it's only a 5-blade router. But like Delta 2s are Delta 2s from like the 90s and maybe late 80s. I'm not sure. Were 4 or 5 blade flywheel and had the rounded blade tips instead of the pointed blade tips and 4-blade only flywheels. Anyways, but this is definitely an older Casablanca Concentra. The newer ones have weird blades, like weird shaped blades, and like the blade brackets are different, and it just completely looks cheap, in my opinion. So I'm definitely glad I found this, because this is the way better version of the Concentra. I found this. I got this fan from Habitat a couple weeks ago for $10. It was $10 for the main part of the main accessories for the fan, like for the main accessories of the fan, like the blades, the light kit, and the motor. But it did not come with its original mounting hardware, so I had to get that for a hefty $60 off of eBay, because for some reason ceiling fan parts are ridiculously freaking overpriced on eBay for some stupid reason. I didn't want to shell out that much money, but unfortunately I had to if I wanted to put this fan up and actually test it. So that's what I did. Ever since I put it up, I've been very happy with it. I sit down here in my garage and just let it run, because it's really nice, and it definitely helps in terms of air movement down here. So anyways, enough rambling. I also will be taking down the updates video that I make off of YouTube and making another video, because I have different plans now, and I'll discuss that briefly probably at the end of this video. But I'll go into full detail in the remake video of the updates. Anyways, let's get this fan started up. Started off with the light. Oh, the switch is off. Hold on. And the fan was on high. Sorry about that. Let me turn that on. There we go. Here's the light. It's operated by a switch over there on the wall. Obviously you can't see. I'll probably show that at the end of the video as well. Everything on, like I said, everything on the fan is original except for the mounting hardware. The light, these are the shades that it came with when I got it. The light bulbs, I just found 4 random bulbs around the house that were not being used for important things. Like I took these off 2 light fixtures that are in the basement that don't really need to be used. I got this off of the fixture over here. I had an LED bulb. I decided to put the LED bulb on this light that you probably can't see because it's like right behind the camera. But it's a motion sensor light, and there's no switch on it. It's just, that's why I put a motion sensor on the socket, so whenever you walked by it, it would turn on, and after a while, if you weren't close to it, it would shut off eventually. So The incandescent bulb, I think, is for my sister's old desk lamp, because there is an incandescent bulb in this light right here. Anyways, turn that off. And yes, there are 2 chains on the light, because there's a separate chain on the light kit itself, but there is a second, there's a chain for the light in the switch housing, so for some reason there's 2 chains on the light, but that's fine. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. But anyways, start it up on low. And obviously, being a Casablanca, the pole chain sequence is low, medium, high instead of high, medium, low. So yeah. And being a Casablanca being the Casablanca that it is, it moves a lot of air, as expected with Casablancas. This fan is pretty quiet. It runs it runs pretty smooth. The bearings are still good in it, so it doesn't make any bearing noise or anything like that. It does have a motor hum, but that's because these Casablanca Concentras are known for having a motor hum of some sort. At least these older ones. I don't know, they're just known for having a little bit of motor noise. This one in particular is not too bad, but I've seen videos, you might know the YouTube channel and fan collector Vintage Fans and More. He owns one of these Casablanca Concentras in the same finish, actually, just with different blades and with no light. That was pretty buzzy and had a lot of motor noise. But this one in particular is pretty quiet for the most part, especially on the lower speeds. Low speed is pretty much almost dead silent. It's very good for moving air and like moving at least enough air so that way, like, I can feel a breeze on low right now, which means it's a good fan. So I'm glad I picked this up. There's another fan I saw at Habitat a while when I found this fan. There's another fan that was there. It was a really ugly fan. It was like a verde slash like pine colored fan. It was this really like ornate Hampton Bay fan. It was branded Hampton Bay because I had Hampton Bay on the motor housing, so I was a Hampton Bay something. But obviously I chose this over that because first of all, this fan looks way better, even though the other one actually had its mounting hardware with it. And I could have, it would have kind of hummed 100% complete. I didn't really like it. I thought it was ugly looking, and plus this is a way better quality fan than that Hampton Bay. So that's why I picked this one up instead. I would pick any Casablanca fan over, I'd pick this fan over any other ceiling fan that was there in a heartbeat, because I was currently looking for my first ever collected ceiling fan to get my first ever ceiling fan, and I saw this there and like, I'm definitely picking this up, even though it was incomplete and I had to get the mounting hardware off the internet. But let's bump it up to medium. And I know this video is kind of dragged on, and I apologize that it is. And that noise in the background is just some sort of like furnace in the back here. But this is medium. When I first hooked it up for the first time, this fan is actually pretty wobbly because the blades are out of alignment, but as I ran it on high speed more and more, I start to get used to the wobble. At first I thought it was pretty bad, and I didn't know if I felt comfortable with it being left on high speed, so I was going to try to balance it. But the wobble isn't actually that bad. It just looks bad because the light kit is loose, so the light kit shakes around a lot more than the actual fan does. So that's why it looks, from the naked eye, it may look like it's a pretty bad wobble, but it's really just the light kit shaking around more than the fan does because the light kit is a little bit loose. It's not like the light kit's gonna fly off, but like you could spin the light kit like 360 degrees. Like, I'll show you. See, you can move the light kit because it's not like completely, like, you know what I mean. So this is medium. Blows a nice breeze on medium, actually. And now we'll crank it up to full tilt. And the noise in the background is just the furnace. I know the furnace is kind of drowning out any noise that you might hear from the fan, but the fan is really pretty much quiet. It does have a little bit of motor hum, like starting up on high speed or whatever, but it's not really a problem. Plus, once it gets to full speed, it quiets down, so I don't really have a problem with that. But yeah, it does kind of wobble. Like I said, the blades are out of alignment. When I was taking the fan home from Habitat, I tried to be extra careful. Well, thankfully the blades were not on the fan when I bought it, so because that is not good. If you ever donate a fan to a store or give it back, please take the blades off before you set the fan on the floor. Or even if you take the fan down and put it on the floor, never leave the blades on if you're going to put it on the floor, because that could bend the brackets or the blades themselves, and that could either damage the blades or just do some it would do a lot of damage to the blades, and if you do end up putting it back up, the blades would be in horrible alignment and would cause the fan to wobble pretty badly. But thankfully the blades were not on this, so I'm assuming the blades were already out of alignment in its previous installation. So, but thankfully the wobble isn't too bad, and it blows a lot of air. I'll tell you that right now. Very, very strong fan in terms of air movement. I love it. It's easily one of my favorite It's easily my favorite ceiling fan that I own. Pretty obvious because all the other fans in the house are Hampton Bays and Harbor Breezes. So, like, there are 2 Harbor Breeze Centervilles in 2 of the rooms. I have 2 Harbor Breeze Centervilles, Harbor Breeze Crosswinds, Hampton Bay Larson, and a Hampton Bay Gazebo 2+. This easily beats all 5 of those fans, because first of all, it's a vintage. It's pretty heavy too, so that's how you know it's pretty good quality, because this thing is not a lightweight fan. This thing actually is pretty heavy. It weighs a good like 30 pounds, if not more. So, or 25, 30 pounds. So it definitely is pretty heavy. But yeah, I do like it a lot. Turn the light kit on for you. I'll turn the light on for you so you can see that. See what that's like. And really, in terms of air movement, this thing, like I said, does a great job, and I have no complaints whatsoever. Yeah. Alright. And we'll shut the fan off by the switch over here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is my 50-inch. That is the proper video of my 50-inch Navajo White Casablanca Concentra ceiling fan from 1989. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.